and maybe the fog of war, depending on the brutality of the contest. It's Saturday afternoon, it's a sold-out Gardens, it's Saints v Sharks. It's the Gallagher PREM back on your screens, and Alex Coles makes his first claim. And Henry Pollock gets his first taste of a Sale Shark shoulder. Coles back on the ball. He's had a magnificent start to the season in both Saints and England colours. And it is a buoyant atmosphere in the opening minutes here, and it's a wonderful claim from Alex Wills, who really impressed last time out against Exeter. He was up against Manife Waboso, but it was Wills who really took the headlines. Fine finish included. Tom Burrow, former England 20s captain. Then Aaron Reid bouncing about at fullback. Just his 5th professional appearance with 15 on his back.
Use it.
Pollock smothers the box from Quirk. And pressure arrives, but that is really well dealt with.
Leave it.
Saints arriving on the horizon, but finding a way to just about get across the touchline. Will Griff-John.
Use it.
Quirk, second time round, gets the ball away. Well, it's misjudged by everyone. Tadaro was all at sea, and Si McIntyre can't claim it cleanly. And now Finn Smith whips it to Hendy, who gets nutmegged from 20 metres, and a promising counter-attack breaks down.
That might late the Monday morning meeting. First touch, ball goes through your legs. Defensively, really smart start from the Saints. Interesting that that man got the charge down, but the kick, look, really into Northampton Saints half here, where they decided to kick the ball. Don't know what that shows so far. I mean, it means that they're gonna not attack too much and look to kick a lot of the ball, the Sale Sharks, and without George Ford guiding the ship. It's a really strong start from Henry Pollock, just putting pressure on Rafi Quirk. Looks like he's giving a bit of stick there as well to him, just to let him know if you're going to kick lazy and get caught out, then that's what's going to happen.
Well, the scrum doesn't get going because it's an immediate free kick, and Ernst van Rijn winds himself up and makes some good meters, scrabbles along through the challenge from Davidson, and Cowan-Dickey bumps JJ van der Mesch.
He's not okay. He's not okay. He's falling over everywhere, JJ.
Will Griff-John gets another carry, just slipped out the back by Lowe where Reid is. Finn Smith clinging to his bootstraps. And then Tom Curry doesn't receive it from Quirk, but gets a helping hand on the clear out. Oh, it just got a little congested in the passing channel. And Davidson steps in at fly half, and there's a lot of room, and there's a lot of pace, and there's Edo Tadaro. But so too Aaron Reid, who has got gas to burn, and Tadaro makes a great challenge one-on-one. Sale hem back in their 22.
Use it.
Only a ball in play time for this opening 4 minutes. Quirk just delaying, all too aware of the charging instincts of the Saints. Furbank takes a bit of a bullet from Tadaro. Coles looking to free that arm for the offload instead. Well, Van der Mesch has dusted himself down, and there's a real purr when he gets on the ball. He's a firm favourite in these parts after only just a few games. And Hendy, hat-trick last week, sears through the middle, Pollock on the shoulder. There's only one outcome. HP delivering the sauce from the get-go for the Northampton Saints.
It's a great attack from the Saints. All too easy for them, to be honest. Henry Pollock's got the gas on the outside, but the kick should have gone off initially from Rafi Quirk. He didn't find touch, which he should have. And you can't give a back line that Northampton Saints have got. Hendy is so dangerous in these spaces. It's Furbank in the thick of it again. Finn Smith and Furbank linking up out the back, which Dingwall's the man who fires the pass. There's just such a dangerous back line. You could name any one of them that'd give the final pass. Sale have got to be smarter though. You've got to get that ball off the pitch as soon as you can. Rafi Quirk should have done better with that kick. Saints won't be complaining.
Well, you just can't keep him out of the headlines, can you? And many will have an opinion on him, his parents looking on very proudly. But he backs it up, doesn't he, Ashy? He backs it up.
I'd like to see his dad with the head tape on as well. Real commitment from him is what I'd like to see. But yeah, he has backed it up so far. It's great. Just keeps turning up every week. Big moments, and no doubt he'll have another big game today. Oh, that one slightly high.
Aaron Reid, the man, fell. And Sale tried to muscle back a bit of rhythm. Just popped into the path of Vermeulen, who's beginning to crank into gear in Sale colours. Marius Lowe whips one, collected by Smith. And the penalty comes.
Good timing. You hooked him in the air, ball to the ground.
Just Aaron Reid stayed down briefly after the tackle. It was a big hit from Pollock. Looks like he's up on his feet and he's going again. I'm going to see it quickly. Here we go. He's carrying the ball back. Oh, he does catch him. Let's play on.
Mitchell almost squeezes through and forces an offload that goes forward. Curry. Oh, man and ball to Daro, read it perfectly. And then into the backfield once more. Plenty of time for Smith to pick his spot. Keeps it in field. Wills, another product of the England pathway, as part of the World Rugby Championship winning side from a couple of years ago, alongside Pollock in Cape Town. And Lowe.
Just looking a bit lost, Sale Sharks in attack. But really another going left to right. It's never a great sign. I think they're going to look to kick this away now.
Use it, Sale.
It's just too long. Yeah, it's just not, there's not enough in that attack for me for Sale Sharks, not enough bite behind it. Asking players to get up off the feet on a short side and carry again and then go to midfield. You're just going back and forth. And in the end, it's just too easy for that man Furbank. He'll just eat it up and he'll knock you back 60 metres. You can't kick to a fullback who's that much of a class act. The Sale now back 50 metres. It's their own line-out. We're probably going to see the same. Yeah, they've got to get some variety in there, the Sale Sharks, if they're going to try and threaten the Saints' defence.
Well, the line-out is bypassed entirely, and Marius Lowe scampers across. And Dupree, who's going to be so sorely missed when he parts way with Sale at the end of the season. Sort of restarts his kicking duel. Mazy running though from Aaron Reid, slaloming through the green, black and gold, and it's just not sticking for the Sharks right now. And it might even be more damaging because Hendy and Pollock are after this. Dupree, first man back, Hendy swallows him. It's a brilliant clear out from Van Rijn, but Saints have got it. Pollock pinches it on the deck. Finn Smith has no one outside or behind him. And Burrow marches him back. Furbank to the rescue. Feels like there's opportunity here for Saints. Well, it could be a gift instead for Flaherty, but there was always advantage being played.
Been very kind there, Christoph Ridley. You almost want the penalty more than the turnover sometimes in that situation. Here's the read break, does so well, he's so fast.
Say that again.
I don't think Rafi Quirk expected him to throw the pass so soon. Should have gone a little bit closer to the defender, I think, Reed, before he threw the pass. But they should do better. You're not going to get many opportunities like that as clear cuts. You've got to turn them into points. But the turnover from Pollock, when Henry did all the hard work, it's just so quick over the ball. The frustration as well for Sale Sharks as you go from making a line break and up to the 22, and all of a sudden you're 7 metres off your own try line through one missed pass.
Cleanly claimed by Kemeny, a breakaway, an introduction of Hendy from the blind side. Well, there's no clarity as to who's got it. It could be a brilliant turnover, and timely as well, with Saints queuing up out wide. And it's all hands to the pump at the moment for Sale. They can only find the safety of the touchline, but there's going to be more waves coming from this line out.
Yeah, Rafi did the right thing there, got the ball off the pitch. Not sure who it is over the ball there, but doing so well, and a lot of traffic there. To Cowan-Dickey.
Mitchell to Dingwall, just lifted into a gap and clattered. Still there for Saints. Hendy accelerates through the hole. And he has got a taste for tries this December, George Hendy. A dozen up in a dozen minutes for the Saints at the Gardens.
Just finds himself in space so often, does George Hendy. It's a lovely starter play. There's a lot of fine passes, needing the offload off the deck. Might not go to anything, but watch the Mitchell, his willingness to not just offload the ball and turn, go at the defence, throw a dummy in as well. That's what makes the try, really. Because anyone, I think a normal player would just shovel it on, think they're going backwards. I'll just pass it on to the next guy. But Mitchell doesn't. As we watch it here, as he picks the ball up off the offload, he'll turn and put his body straight. There we go. It's all it takes. Might not look like much, but that's enough to put doubt in defenders' minds, and it opens that hole, which George Hendy does the right thing and hits it at speed. But he's elusive. He's always in space, and he's dangerous.
His 5th try in 3 matches in the month of December. The architect there, Mitchell, 23 years old. Such a rich seam of back 3 talent here at Saints. And Alex Coles gets a thwack to the kidneys in claiming the kickoff. And Manny Yogan, one of the few installed back into the starting 15. Just those 3 changes after they crushed an understrength and underwhelming Bulls. Burrow, the former England 20 captain, real sense of an establishing season, his 13th appearance across all competitions. McIntyre, who brought up 100 appearances in Sale colours 2 weeks ago in Salford. And, well, a bit of much-needed territory, but again, the attack not looking particularly threatening, Ashi.
Well, it's a good kick from Rob Dupree, but the reason he's had to go to that kick is there's not much options for him. The back line just doesn't seem to be... Well, we have got a couple of players that haven't played together too much in Marius Lowe and Alex Wills, and Rob Dupree at fly half. He's not had to play there too much of late. So you can just tell it's a bit clunky, and that's why Rob got rid of that kick.
Use it.
But Northampton aren't kicking the ball off the pitch. They want to compete for this, as we're going to see now.
Smartly claimed. And back into this middle third that has proven stodgy for the Sharks so far. Van der Mesch wraps his arms around his fellow South African Vermeulen. Bit more guile, tackle off the ball. Pollock in pursuit. The thundering footsteps behind. And slid and taken. And support arrives. That clunkiness again just presenting opportunities for Saints.
Yeah, the Sale Sharks are all in one side of the pitch, which Northampton are just reading with ease. And Rob Dupree, to be fair to him, did really well in the backfield there with Henry Pollock chasing him down. Stood up, rode the tackle, and stopped himself from getting turned over. Yeah, here's another turnover. Just trying passes that aren't quite on Cole's nose, get a toe to it, make chaos. But watch Rob Dupree here, does so well, slides up on his feet, fights the tackle, saves his team, really. Big hit.
Pollock boomed by Tom Curry. Van der Mescht thrashes on. And back to the short side, late switch. Smith dummies inside. Van Rijn gets him. There is real zestiness to the way that Saints are pinging the ball around forwards and backs, and Wright gets wrestled to the deck. Dingwall over the top, hands from Pollock. Beautiful pickup from Kennedy, slung inside. And Toby Tame, who only made his first Premiership start a couple of weeks ago, gets in on the try-scoring act.
So slick from the Saints. Toby Tame picks up the try, but as a team try, wide to wide. A lot of players touched the ball here. They just look threatening. Oh, look at the numbers they've got on the outside. There's 5 on 3 there, and every one's a genuine option. Pollock's pass on the outside from a back rower, just being able to hold his feet and offload again. See, we see it. They're going to check the pass, I think. I think they've checked it and they are happy. It's dubious to me, but Saints won't complain again. They've just got threats everywhere. And right now, we're over a point a minute.
Saints ain't hanging around when it comes to scoring, and he's been in the thick of everything. He's just a big moment man, isn't he?
Yeah, the Saints play a game that really suits him, gets him on the ball. He's free to roam and get over the ball and chase bits that at other clubs you might not necessarily be able to, but here in this team it just really works well for him, allows him to be the player he wants to be.
An almost error-free opening stanza from the Saints. 19 points to 0 and competing hard for everything. Wills does exceptionally well to collect a difficult ball. McIntyre gets hit by his opposite number. And this one might just drop outside the 22. Cowan-Dickey's there to guide Mitchell out.
But if you're going to do that, Sale Sharks, you don't want your hooker chasing it. It's got to be your winger who's up there. Alex Wills on that left wing is nowhere to be seen. It's not in Cowan-Dickey's job description to get up and chase box kicks, so it's got to be a bit more targeted. And as we see the difference here in comparison to Saints. Here we go.
Pollock collects, Pollock grubbers, Pollock assists, and Tadaro! Can't find the ball inside, but it has been dotted down by Cole. Surely it's gone forward somewhere in all of that.
Okay, so we're checking whether on the initial break.
There is a lot to check in there, but there is also a lot to love about it as well. It may not result in a try.
On-field decision is obviously try.
Yeah, no problems, mate. We'll check it out.
Oh, it's a definite forward pass from Todaro.
Checking everything, so.
Oh, he's not that forward.
Just whether that hits his right hand, isn't it? That does look like the fingers go temps.
Yeah, just give us 1 sec, mate. Just working on the best angle of this.
think what he's tried to do is pop it up to himself, buy himself a bit more time, but that's gone forward. It's a knock-on.
Just checking the first angle again, Christoph.
Do those index fingers get bent back by the ball?
I don't think there's any doubt there, is there, that Pollock's nudged that
Okay,
on.
Christoph.
Yeah.
This is the last angle we're showing. That is a knock-on, Christoph.
Yeah.
That is a knock-on.
No try, knock on.
I get why he's done it in that small space. He's tried to pop it up to himself, caught the wrong end of the ball, tried to get away with it sneakily and stick a grubber kick in, which was a fantastic grubber kick, by the way, just to throw in there. But that's the difference in the Sale Sharks and the Saints right now. Sale are kicking in hope, but Saints are kicking planned, thorough, detailed, chases in place, winning the ball back, making it hard for Sale. Sale right now just look lost in how they're going to score any points. Saints are in complete command. Got to get some territory first, the Sale Sharks. Put some pressure on down near the Northampton Saints try line. That's got to be your first port of call. They'll try and pull something out of the hat, get some territory in the game, spend some time down at Saints try line.
Sharks last week travelled to one of the great European fortresses and got a victory away at Claremont. And then they've come back here, they're 19 points down within the same number of minutes. Did you ever find the transition from Europe back to Premiership difficult? Is there anything to contend with there?
Well, very different these days going to Clermont away compared to coming to Northampton Saints. Right now, Clermont are just not the force they were in Europe. Sometimes the French teams can throw the towel in quite early if they're not that interested, whereas we're seeing the opposite here. Northampton Saints are fully up for this game, winning absolutely every area of the contest so far this first 20 minutes.
Wilgriff John,
Oh, what a kick.
penalised there. And Sale looking to run it out. Finn Smith has chased it hard. And Quirk, who was really back to his elusive and mischievous running best in France last week.
Use it, Sale.
Gets strike down. And the forward arm wrestle continues.
Don't push it into it, please.
Kind of need someone to take responsibility for this ball at the back, and
It's not gone off again.
Tadaro's picked out. Furbank's there. Hendy is screaming for it out on the left edge. Pearson almost sets up his teammate for a fall. They hold on. And now the soft hands out on the edge release the hooker right. Van der Mesh taken low by Cowan-Dickey. Smith to Coles, his try chalked off a moment ago. And finally, the Sharks get a bit of joy at the breakdown.
Holding, and then he's pulled off his feet, but I'm going to speak to
It's a good turnover there from Marius Lowe. They needed it. The Sale Sharks.
Alex,
The Saints just
look
look
coach the ball because he was fair
complete
game. Stop screaming or I'll pin
control of their attack and finding edges and finding space at will, so they needed someone to stop that play.
Every right to go for that. He ended up leaving it alone. Back in.
Marius Lowe did well to get in there. I think that's his second turnover so far. That's what they need, more of that. Just more threat at the breakdown, slowing down the Northampton Saints ball. You've got to make something of this, Sale. You work hard to turn the ball over, got to turn it into some points. Otherwise, one more try the other way and you feel like the game's already hard to reel back in.
Plenty of movement, and Bamber didn't really need to be hoisted too high. Low gets flattened by Pollock as he takes it to the line. Sale still in command. Sale with numbers. Reed with the pace. Releases the ball. Wills into the left-hand corner, but it's a great hit to Holtham as he hurtled to the line. Van Rijn. Best passage of the game for the Sharks. Cowan-Dickey looks to ride through but dropped 5 metres shy. Vermeulen. Marius Lowe, there was a lot of bodies flying into one small hole. Wilgriff John, shuddered by the shoulder of Davidson. There's an urgency to the Sharks. They know they need to make this count. Oh, but they've spilt it forward. And advantage. They haven't spilt it forward. O'Flaherty takes off. A Superman finish.
It's a great finish from Flatty, but I do think there's a knock-on in the middle of the pitch from the Sale Sharks, which we're going to check.
The ball spilt onto the floor. I think there's a knock-on in the tackle, then another knock-on, both from Northampton, so it's fair game to go and score in the corner. Can we just check that, please?
Yeah, no problems, and then we'll just clear the ground in the corner, Christoph, as well, while we're here.
Checking for knock-on. Huh? Yeah.
Plenty for Ian Tempest to pick through here.
It's not backwards.
Right, knock-on in the tackle
It is
by Saints, and a secondary knock-on by Saints. So first one there in the tackle.
Yeah, there's no knock-on by Sale, so
Great.
we'll move to the grounding, Christoph, now.
No knock-on by Sale, checking grounding in the corner.
Just so well here. O'Flaherty jumps early, gets in the air. That's a great
and the
finish.
try is all good, Christoph. Grounding's good.
Thank you.
But you're told at a young age, aren't you? Play to the whistle. And Sharks did just that. And that is the try that they so desperately needed.
I think it was okay. I actually think they both met the ball at the same time.
Yeah, they needed that Sale. That's much better from them. That's the Sale we know. Off the line out, fast. Some big bodies. They've got some big ball carriers, this Sale Sharks. Moving at speed. That's a great kick from Rob Dupree.
A silky strike from Rob Dupree to maximise the O'Flaherty effort.
Now, this is the finish, what we got to eventually, but the 7 phases before we got to this was really good attack from the Sale Sharks. All from set piece, so everybody knew what they were doing, everybody knew the role, where to be. Looks like where they're going to function best, I think, is from playing from set piece today.
Well, it's the first bit of sustained pressure enforced by the Sale Sharks, and it's yielded a try, so there's small green shoots of optimism for them to build upon, and they're showing a bit more adventure now as they flash down the left. Curry back inside to avoid the touchline. Van Rijn, 7 on his back today, just as comfortable in the row as he is in the back row. Well, this hangs, could be competed, but it is secure, safe, and in Saints' hand. Van der Mescht gets the treatment from a cohort of Sale defenders. Smith on the diagonal. Now they're popping it about. O'Flaherty skips inside Tame, still driving the legs. Cowan-Dickey, such an abrasive character, finds the offload. And Wilgriff John takes Sale up to the halfway line. There's a bit more zip about the Sharks now. Sliced and under, and somehow back in Sale hands. Cowan-Dickey on that line against the grain, bumps Yogan, again looking for the offload. And it all comes to a halt with a spill.
It's better from Sale, but it's an example. Seen a couple of examples. A great line. His opponent just took it on himself there to go short, make something happen. Unfortunately, he's dropped the ball, but not for lack of effort. And this is the clear difference between the two teams. Look at the left winger, Alex Wills, over there. He's jogging after that kick. When you're kicking a box kick, the whole point is for your winger to chase it and retrieve it back for you, not to just go after it at jogging speed and just tackle the player. Otherwise, there's not really much point in kicking the ball. The difference between the two teams here, Northampton Saints are kicking box kicks and threatening to get them back, putting everybody under pressure, whereas the Sale Sharks are kicking them and just allowing Saints to win the ball back at will and set up their attack, which just makes it all too easy for Northampton Saints.
A few running repairs for Manny Yogan, wearing the bumps and bruises of that carry from Luke Cowan-Dickey. He played like a man possessed when Exeter Chiefs came up to Salford the other week, and he seems to be taking the game by the scruff of the neck a little bit more over these last few minutes.
Fine. Set.
Mitchell, once in the Sharks Academy ranks himself, doesn't get to put the ball in because it's a straight penalty.
Christoph Ridley's not had any of this at scrum time. He's massively favouring. It's not really very clear in what he's given there and what for. Sale Sharks are not getting any joy so far. I think it's Wilgriff Johnny that has gone against, dropping too early.
Into Dingwall. Hard carry from the England inside centre. Good autumn for him, a cherished try against the All Blacks too. Pearson. Smith has an option inside, lifted into the space, and Wilgriff John slams the door. Hendy, Kemeny, forward.
The first one from the Saints, a little bit predictable. Furbeck gets hit, but this from Coles just standing up. I don't know what Kenemy's thinking there. It's not American football. He's 2 meters in front of his teammate. And you've worked really hard to get some space on the edge. It's a shame for it to be wasted with your own teammate standing in front of you.
He's been a hit here though, has Josh Kemeny. Coaches and players, player of the season last year. He's hopeful of profiting from Gitto's law being abolished as far as Wallaby rugby is concerned. And understand he's not a massive cricket fan, but he hasn't held back in giving a bit of stick to his Pommy teammates after what's going on down in the Ashes at the moment.
That's what Australians do, don't they? Don't have full understanding, but they'll give you stick anyway. Doesn't matter. He has done really well, settled in so quickly. He's just an industrious back row who is a guy that you can rely on every week. You need at least 5 of those guys in your team. Go-to players that you know are going to be 7, 8 out of 10 every single week.
Just a little dummy that Tame ball, and Sale get on the front foot. Dupree fashioned a kick that looked awkward and does fine touch, but it also has possession back to Saints.
It's a funny technique, actually. You don't see it used too often there from Rob Dupree on the kick. The way he drops the ball onto his toe, makes it spike up and go out. As a backfield player, it's a nightmare to handle sometimes because you don't know where it's going to bounce.
Alex Cole's full strength on the outside arm, but Sale didn't send anyone up, so the wonky throw isn't punished. Will's looking to run, keeping Tadara at arm's length. And Christoph Ridley was fortunate enough to have Franklin's Gardens tell him that that was a penalty.
They always help. They always help. It's a good turnover. That's the difference. Still in the box kick again. Sharks deciding to run it back without support. So you're putting all the lads in front of you. you're expecting them to get you back and help you out, and if you're not going to make a break, as he didn't, goes up the touchline, runs away from his own supporting players. Reed should have probably got in there quicker, knowing that he's going to get tackled. But still, Todoro does so well to get over the ball.
Van der Mesch bounces. Tom Curry, he does cling on. Circle ball, Pearson through the hole almost. Pollock wants it. Iogan gets flattened. Smith just pulling the strings, finding runners out the back. Furbank, Hendy. Tricky ball to collect, and it's wonderfully watched and taken. And then you can't drag him in to touch. You've got to release him.
Yeah, you can't do that. Such good play from Furbank, coming late around the corner, hitting the ball at speed. Thought maybe he should have passed it really to Hendy over the kick. Anyone that watched them the last few weekends, they had a lot of success, Northampton Saints, off these little kicks through. That's not a great kick from Rod de P. This is where, look where Furbank comes from, all the way on the other side of the pitch. He just puts the speed, should give it to him, because he'd got Reed inside. He had enough to give it to Hendy. Hendy does so well there to get low enough. That bit not so much, because you can't drag the player on the pitch, but
line out goes awry. There's some advantage for Saints to work with. Just the knock on. Pollock tries to pirouette through Marius Lowe. Now it's a penalty. And now, not many points for Saints for a while. Would you feel the tee's coming on?
yeah, I'd kick the 3, I think. Doesn't look like they're entertaining that too much. No one's bringing any tee on, but just keeps it ticking over. 22-7. Just a nice little settler for me. It's an easy 3 points because it's in front of the posts. It's a given really. Whereas this is a hard kick from where it is in the pitch, and he's only got 8 metres out. I'd have favoured the 3, but that doesn't matter. They want to go for the kill early here, Saints. Get the bonus point before half-time.
Kemeny off the top. Hendy hunting for another score. Short side through Van der Mesch. Drives the legs, but still no way through. Pearson at the head of the arrow. Smith, cross field with plenty of altitude. It's been missed by everyone. And Wills dances around and just about manages to secure it. Still pressure on Sharks.
Rafi Quirk's got to get this one off the pitch. He's missed a couple this afternoon, putting them off, but if he misses this, it's game on for Saints. Still not enough off, they're going to get it in.
Taken in a flash by Todaro. Hendy skipping around. There's a lot of space out left, but so few Saints numbers. Kemeny weaving his way through a sea of Sharks. Jeff Kemeny with one of the finishes of the season. Wow! You won't see a back row score a better try than that this season.
What a finish from Kemeny. Stepped about 5 bodies there, starting with Hendy. Just enough. But this here, inside from Mullen, that's a good defensive player. Speed, another step round the fullback, straightens up. That tried absolutely everything. Again, it started from Rafi Quirk not kicking the ball off the pitch or getting it off, but only a metre. Saints didn't mess around getting it back on the pitch because they know they've got players like Josh. But here we go. Watch this one around the fullback, Reed. Oh, right foot step. And took a player over the try line with him. What a try.
Collective oohs and ahs ringing round Franklin's Gardens as that one got replayed on the big screen. An unbelievable finish from the Aussie.
I think you heard my comment, must have done. Revved him up a little
we'll
bit.
give you the assist, shall we? But that's the bonus secured after
Saints use it.
a minor period of flatness for the Saints.
But really shoot themselves in the foot, the Shell Sharks. They did so well initially defending the line-out of Saints in the corner.
Let go.
Really strong in those few phases. But when they kick loose, they just can't seem to control the Northampton Saints.
Van Rijn, low. Hand comes in there from Dingwall. It's advantage being played. Burrow has Dingwall wrapped round his ankles. It's spilling everywhere, and eventually the whistle brings a messy passage to a close.
If I'm wrong, the TML pick it up. I didn't even see it myself.
Dingwall, he'll be okay because his hand's going up in the air. He's making an attempt to catch the ball. Here it is. He's not knocking it down. He's trying to lifting up. I'd say he's just in enough to make a case that he's trying to go for the ball. You see there, you're safe if you're going up in the air.
That's a bat of the ball.
Oh no, he's not.
It's a deliberate
Christoph's
knock-on.
not having it.
It's a wide arm, head same side, he knocks the ball.
He's saying he was
deliberate
not
knock-on,
really in a
penalty,
realistic position. He was half in the tackle, half too far away to put himself in place to catch, but the fact that he's lifted it up means it's only a penalty.
Not premeditated, it's an instinct
Missed
one,
touch.
but touch is missed. And Furbank sends Sell back to whence they came.
That's just been the tale of Sale Sharks' half so far. Really sloppy kicking. Seen some nice kicks from Rob Dupree, but overall the game plan been quite sloppy in the kicking department for Sale Sharks.
Bamba, who had a virtuoso performance last week in France, haven't really said his name too many times. The enormous second row, he's buried in the heart of that, and it's the genesis of this break down the left-hand side, the 15-metre channel. Reed to Wills, trickled through, and bravely taken with Wills steaming onto it. Mitchell was there, covering in the backfield, and Saints are content to play a little bit, 5 metres from their line, offloaded out of the tackle from Wright.
Use it.
And that one is sent over the stadium.
Here we go. A good offset piece, Sale. They've got threats this moment. The speed on the outside does so well. I don't think he kicked it on the toe too early for me. Willis Mitchell there, so experienced clearing up the backfield. How he stays in field, I'm not entirely sure he did, but that's the difference there between the team stopping a try and turning it, releasing all the pressure by everybody doing their job, as opposed to that turning into points. And here we go, they're on the front foot again.
Right, steamrolls Rafi Quirk, then has the composure to find Tadaro, but Tadaro doesn't have the right foot.
Oh, no. How dare he? What a break that is. Made the read over the back. Get out of the way, Rafi. Tom Curry, get off, mate. Tadaro steps inside. Oh, he had more time than he thought. He snatched at it. Christoph Ridley's trying to get the Sale Sharks to speed up to the line out here, not something you think he'd need to do.
Low takes it flat and has Curry on his shoulder. Slipped out the back, O'Flaherty beats Hendy on the outside. Beautiful kick, but Mitchell's there again. Oh, the back door to Pollard. Risky business with Reed on the scene, but it all works out supremely for the Saints. It's a quarter of a metre taken by Pearson. Just provides Mitchell the angle.
If you need a sign to know your team's in a good spot just before half-time, it's when you scrum half. He's throwing offloads. This is the break up the touchline. This is a good kick from O'Flaherty. Puts it in the spot. Nobody home. But what a bit of skill from Mitchell. I mean, he's got to be glad that it's Pollock there chasing back. He's just ready for anything, isn't he, Pollock? Maybe other players might not have been aware that Mitchell was going to flick that out the back.
Sharks look to flex their mauling muscles for the first time, really, in this contest. Lowe, Vermeulen, Dupree, O'Flaherty. Van Rijn sees the ball dislodged as the shoulder comes in from Van der Mescht. And Saints will get a scrum put in to close out the half.
Too many errors. That kind of situation for Sale Sharks in the first half.
We've got to take the scrum, right?
Northampton Saints, I think, here will just bang it in the stands and get in.
Last play, lads.
Bonus point at half-time. Couldn't have asked for much more, though, in the first half. The Northampton Saints have been so good in every department. Sale have got some things to sort out at half-time. The game's not fully out of the question, really. They are still in it to get a try. They've got to sort things out at half-time.
Just shot him down, stay off the ball. Come across. Come across, lads, get out of that. You mark, nice and quick, his last play.
I think Furbank might be eyeing up running this on this left-hand side if they get a good scrum. It's really flat. He doesn't look like he's in a position to kick. That might change. Yeah, here we go.
Alex Mitchell content with a bonus point in a first 40 minutes that has been dominated by the classy Saints. A worldie from Josh Kemeny, Pollock, Hendy and the gang all in on the act, and much to do for Sale in the second half. Northampton Saints have this one in their grip, 26 points to 7 at half-time. Sale needs a dramatic turnaround in form and in application if they're to leave the Midlands with any points for Christmas. That's Van Rijn, their talismanic captain, Rob Dupree, all big-name players, all with Sharks in their blood. And I'd imagine some unminced words from Alex Sanderson in the changing rooms at the break.
Yeah, they've got to act fast here, Sale Sharks. Get themselves back in this game. As we know, the Saints are so deadly when they do get on a run. Got to score points first here, Sale Sharks.
Thank you, good choice.
Bit of housekeeping is that James Harper has come onto the field for Sale during the break in place of Will Griff-John. And there he is. 11th appearance across all competitions this season. The 126 kilo tight head.
It's a shame, really, because it was a really good kick from Rafi Quirk. Just put the ball 2 metres infield, which gives the winger Wills enough time to get the player into touch, but you can't then throw it not straight.
Actually, just turning back to those half-time conversations from the coaches, when you've from Sale's perspective,
It was not straight, sorry.
what do you think that chat is going to be? Is it about temperament? Is it about application, or are they talking tactics? What's the feel when you've endured a 40 minutes like that?
It's a hard question, really, because there was a lot of things that went wrong for them, so you can't overload the players with so much information. You've got to find one or two things that you want to focus on, and that's got to be your aim for half-time. Otherwise, I don't know, if they watch that back, you could see holes in a lot of it. But I think that's a good start. I mean, the line-out's not, but the kicking game's got to be better than it was in the first half.
Tadaro finds himself stepping down a purple alley. More muscularity on show, but there's room in the backfield, charged down by Van Rijn. Pollock was on his bike after that, so timely. And then threaded down the tram lines, bit of backspin, awkward for Reed. Oh, and it's an uncomfortable collision. A couple of players wrong-footed there, and it was an awkward coming together. Reed's still down. And, well, play does come to a halt while Reed receives attention, and there might be a bit of scrutiny from Ian Tempest.
Didn't look great from Mitchell. He slides in, he is low, but he definitely catches Reed. It doesn't look as bad as what it was live. Catches him in the shoulder for me, it's not in the head. Reed might think that he's hit him in the head, but it looks shoulder first. Yeah, I agree there.
There still needs to be some common sense, and I think that's the one where we need it.
Everyone can be
Yeah, well, fair enough.
consistent with the way you say it.
So a bit of common sense
He slips, and you're about 2 feet.
being employed by Christoph Ridley, and Alex Mitchell won't see any repercussions from that slip.
I do think it helps with the personnel sometimes. If we're talking about Cohen-Dickey, maybe, for example, over a Mitchell. Mitchell's not really in his game. I know he might get caught, but he's slid. He's really low. Pulls out of it. I do think it hits him on the shoulder. Shoulder to shoulder. It's just an awkward one. More concerned for the was a little bit of pushing and shoving, and all the coaches took a tumble down here just before the kick. Rafi Quirk pushed Mitchell, I think, into about 3 Sales coaches. Everybody went over. I think the doctor might need a HIA down this left touch line.
Tom Curry in the 8 jersey that his brother Ben wore for the first time last week. And Sale get a much-needed scrum penalty, and maybe the arrival of James Harper has slightly changed the picture.
Here it is what I was talking about. Mitchell kicks it, gets a nudge off Rafi Quirk, runs into 3, and the doctor takes a tumble as well. He doesn't know what's going on. I don't know why they're so close to the touchline, to be honest, the staff there.
Sale continue to try and forge ahead in the midfield. Joe Bedlow, uncompromising style of carrying, very much in the guise of big brother Sam. Quirk, few options, but he finds a shaft of light through a forest of green, black and gold, weaving into the 22, but he can't drift the pass over the long arms of the scrambling Saints.
Use it. Use.
Mitchell orchestrating forwards around him, but goes to his fellow British and Irish Lion in Smith, who feeds the counter-attacking ambitions of Reid. Dupree kicking the corners. Maybe catches Hendy out of position a touch. And Saints driven back into their 22.
He's really good at finding space in these tight spaces around the ruck, Rafi Quirk. It's almost make it a speciality, just fighting out of this area. Does so well. It's this bit, you don't need to find a try-scoring pass. That's an impossible pass in that situation. When your team's 26-7 down, just keep ball. Get some territory. Don't be forcing that pass after you've done something so well. Saints just taking some time to get back up to the speed, the levels they were in the first half. An example of this is this kick here from Rob Dupree. He sees the space in the backfield, but Hendy should drop sooner. This is Hendy's catch all day, but he's too far up pitch. You've got a good player like Rob Dupree, he'll catch you out here. Hendy should be going earlier. There's no threat on his side. He doesn't need to be up that high. It allows the winger to drop off quicker, but you've got to have your mind in the game to be able to catch it.
Well, Craig Wright gets a warm reception as he leaves the field, a barnstorming run in the first half. And Scotland's Robbie Smith is onto the field. Former housemate of Callum Chick, who's also on the bench from their days up in Newcastle. There's some real quality to come from both sides when the reinforcements are released. Kick pass to Darrow. Hops around, hitches, and then skates back inside. And a penalty for Saints. An easy opportunity to drive themselves upfield and, in this instance, throw the ball around without much consequence. Lovely slink of the hit and acceleration through the hole. Support on the left. In the shape of Hendy, who twists O'Flaherty inside and out. And George Hendy just cannot stop scoring right now.
He's been outstanding today as Hendy. He finishes it, starts with this lovely kick from Finn Smith, sees that Sailor too flat in defence. Todorous, nice work to get inside, trying to find a gap, but this bit again, so organised. Finn Smith, comfortable, time on the ball. It's just great to watch with the ball in hand, Finn Smith, but this, the stop, and it's the wide step. You think you've got him. Because his step is so wide into you, you think you can reach him, but it's all planned from him. Well, maybe, I don't think he entirely knows what he's doing, but it doesn't matter. His body and everything is all linked in. So good from Hendy.
Smith adds another pair of points and a little more pain to the scoreboard for the Sharks. George Hendy is red hot right now.
It is just a stop and go. It's lovely from Finn Smith, but it's this bit here. He'll step right into you. You think, see how Flaherty ducked, changed his body level. He thinks he's got him. And as you look back up, he's gone, he's already round you. Such an elusive player. Oh, really outstanding back three players have the Northampton Saints.
Well, I should mention that among those back three players that Tommy Freeman and Ollie Slightholme are still on the bench, yet to be introduced. George Hendy, 23 years old. He has got the brightest of futures, as does this individual. A bit quieter in the last few exchanges. And Dupree picks out Saints' danger man. Numbers flooding down the left channel. Hendy holds on and gets hit hard by Bedlow.
Solved that problem pretty well there, the Sale Sharks. Rob Dupree's kick didn't catch it right, and this time Hendy did read it right, dropped back, caught it clean, and he wishes he had that opportunity again. He'd do a bit, I think he'd do a bit differently than he did there. He's caught in two minds. Should he find the corner? Should he throw the pass? Getting put in touch from that situation is not something he'd do second time round. Crowd lights up every time he gets the ball.
In 5.
Cowan-Dickie
Once.
just pops his eyes up to scope the scene, but Quirk goes to the skies. Hendy comes up with the error, and Sale a little deeper into the Saints half now. No way through on the inside channel though. Cowan-Dickie always finds a way through. Such an aggressive carrier of Flaherty. Late arrival, bounces two, spins through a third. McIntyre. Vermeulen.
Tackle, let go.
Bok on Bok as he meets Van der Mesch. Well, there was a lot of bodies and it all got a little tight, and the ball just wouldn't find its way into another Sale player's hands, and ultimately it is a penalty to Saints.
It's a big difference in the Northampton Saints ball carrying to the Sale Sharks. Saying a lot of the time are looking to just go head down into contact. Ben Bamber's trying his hardest to find the passer at the back, but it's no good. The Saints' defence on the outside has moved up so far. Once he's made the pass, that everyone's already under pressure at the back, and that's because they're not getting momentum before they're deciding to play out the back. They're playing the ball too early wide instead of getting go forward through the middle.
Crisply into the midfield, into the hands of Henry Pollock, who just gyrates on for a few more post-contact meters.
That's the difference there, Joe. Look at the difference in the carrying. Team just on the front foot all the time.
Switch of direction. Aaron Reed's on the spot. And they've got a few back three issues, Sale. Joe Carpenter, I think, is due back pretty soon, but Tom Roebuck is looking like a more long-term absence.
It just highlights how good those lads are in this Sale team, how much they offer.
So Dan Dupree onto the field for Sharks, and for the Saints, Danilo Fischetti and Cleopas Kundiona on for the industrious duo that is Manny Eogan and Trevor Davison. They've got through a huge amount of work today, those two, and it looks like Rafi Quirk's race is run as well, as Gus Wart bounds onto the field. Bit of a return to form of late for Rafi Quirk. He's had a funny couple of years, spoiled by injury, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's never been able to really get going, because once he has, we see him score some amazing tries. He then got injured again, so good to see him back playing minutes. I'd love to know what it's like playing a game of rugby just for 50 or 30 minutes. Never got that luxury.
An 80-minute man.
Didn't do anything for 60.
Oh, that's clamped down brilliantly by Cowan-Dickie. He is a head in dark places man, isn't he, Luke Cowan-Dickie?
Yeah, definitely more than some. Likes the real nitty-gritty parts of the game. But he'll be so frustrated at how this game's gone today. He's rode 3 clean-outs there just to get his team the ball back.
Good contest, but Vermeulen wins the race to that ball in the sky, just cranking forward a touch threatening to break in to a bit of momentum. War ducks down, then gets entangled by Pollock and Pearson. Vermeulen, a hurried ball, coughed up, and it's on for Saints. Oh, it's plucked by O'Flaherty, acrobatically, instinctively, spectacularly. And the Sharks have themselves another try.
I have no idea how he has caught that. He must have Gorilla Glue on his hands. It's ridiculous. For as much Hendy done really good today. Whoa, that's amazing. Great read. There's an experienced head there. Hendy showed he was going to pass that ball so early. He was always going to pass it. Look, he's ready, he's firing. When you've got an experienced winger like O'Flaherty, he's going to read that all day. The space was in the backfield, and you could see Furbank was calling for Hendy to kick it back there, but he was committed to the pass. Just pull Hendy back a bit, that's what that's done. Just pulled him in a little bit, reeled him back in.
Needed bringing down a peg or two in your eyes. But Tom O'Flaherty, he's in a rich vein of try-scoring form. One against Claremont last week, 2 today, and Cameron Dickey, a well-earned sit-down after a typically impactful 54 minutes or so, and Nathan Jabulu is no slouch to bring from the bench as well. Quinn's lost very much, Sharks gain. And that try does sort of breathe a bit of life into the contest as well, because Sharks will be thinking now of bonus points. Can they get that 3rd and 4th?
Yeah, you've got to keep fighting for something. They're important in this league. As we know, how tight it gets towards the end of the season. Got to get your bonus points, worth fighting for.
Well, George Hendy gets the shepherd's crook as per your instructions, Ashley, and 2 try scorers are leaving the field because Henry Pollock has made way for Callum Chick, and it'll be Ollie Slightholme who takes up the winger's berth in place of Hendy. A first Premiership appearance of the campaign for Slightholme, who's been battling injury, but he might just be chasing the shadow of Alex Wills right now as he storms into the 22. New faces, new lease of life for the Sharks. Tom Curry out on the 5-metre channel, tries to dance around Pearson, who gets him low. Sale, at long last, waking up and showing their attacking mettle. Bedlow, no way through. A little option outside Dan Dupree, but he's a big man. But he's unable to keep that safely in his hands. Promising, but ultimately fruitless.
No, and what is really good about Northampton Saints, they don't give any penalties away. They just adjust, and they're willing to make the hit. Watch this hit here on the next tackle. Just stops any, it's got the wrong shape there, low, but it's the one before that just stopped any sort of momentum that Sale had. But they have been so disciplined today, the Saints, which, when you're the opposition, it's so hard to try and get a footing in the game when you're not getting any freebies. I don't think there's head contact.
The tackler comes off
worse
than that, doesn't he?
Head contact. Just give us the space, mate, and we'll let you know in a sec.
Still head contact.
So Toby Tame is the subject of the investigation. I mean, he was the one who wore Dan Dupree's shoulder to his face, really.
Is that direct head-on-head tempo?
I do think that's what it is. It's more of a whiplash effect.
Okay, but there is some head contact, yes?
There is.
Yellow card. Okay, I've got a decision.
He's got himself in completely the wrong position there,
Okay.
Marius Lowe.
He's upright, so it is foul play. There is head contact. Most of the force is going through the body. For that reason, it's a yellow card.
I understand it. Players, obviously, we're driving this message of get yourself in the right situation. That is wrong. It's on the wrong shoulder. And when you're going to do that, you're risking getting your head in close. And even if, I don't know if there was much head contact there, there's enough for the referees to see a problem. And it's what we want out of the game. Just get your technique right.
As you said, a factor of getting himself into a bit of a tangle technique-wise.
Opportunity though now.
It is opportunity. Saints will play the next 10 minutes with 14 players on the park, and they'll also spend the next few seconds defending what you'd imagine would be a driven maul as Hiron Andrews is sent skyward and Jabulu nestles in at the back of the massive bodies, breaks, pops, war. Finn Smith denies him. Bit of hesitancy on who was going to take that on, and eventually it's the captain, Van Rijn. And Saints are really defending hard here as Sale Sharks pound away at their try line. There's penalty advantage. Jabulu's not quite there. Bedlow ignored, whipped to Reed, who had so much room, he could barely decide where to score. But he makes no mistake, and Sale have a third try. They're in sight of a bonus point, and they're dragging themselves score by score back into the contest.
It's really good carrying from the Sale Sharks. Forwards doing some hard yards here into heavy contact. Van Rijn just picking up another half a metre, pulled the trigger at the right time. He didn't know what to do here, Reed. He almost went inside, which could have been an issue. It's a great pass from Rob Dupree. He's good at those long-range ones. But they just did enough there, Sale, to suck the Saints in, keep everybody close and tight, create the space out wide. And we're seeing already the effect of the yellow card.
Saints 33, Sharks 21, game on at the Gardens.
Yeah, Saints are doing the classic technique of take as long as possible to get to the halfway line, try and burn the clock down. They just need to manage this next. We've not seen the best of them this second half for sure. It happens sometimes when you had such a good first half. You almost think you've done enough to get you through second half. So Saints have switched off slightly. But the Sharks are a good team, and they're not going to go away. No matter how bad they've been in the first half, they're still going to not give up.
And they've got a decent chunk of game to make the difference now. Cy McIntyre has made way for Tumion Asania, local lad, product of Eccles Rugby Club. He's got Salford in the blood. And the Sharks have a bit of Saints blood in their nostrils at the moment. Another try makes things really interesting. Tadaro consumed by Andrews. Kundiona, the Zimbabwean international, with a carry. Furbank chooses wisely to hold on. Van der Mescht. They've stood up bravely to the carrying prowess of the enormous South African today.
Use it.
Wills, little pressure, but he spills. Kundiona slings it. And Callum Chick goes headlong into Tom Curry. Real life about this game now. Finn Smith caught high, potentially Kemeny. We all know what he can do from this range. Pearson on the shoulder, and now a real bit of spice and venom in the match. Another intercept opportunity, lifted into the grip of George Furbank, who careers over Gardens, the noisiest place in the Midlands right now.
So good from the Saints. I was in awe of every single pass they put in there. There wasn't much space at all, but they found a way through. Finn Smith showing the dummy, offload. Next one, offload in contact. Kemeny again, offload. Look how good that is, and then they just know they've got Sharks where they want them. Willis has a go, but Furbank again puts the speed on the outside. Such a natural runner on the outside arc, and he's got enough to get over the top of Rob Dupree. Just come to life there when needed, the Northampton Saints.
Finn Smith to make it 40. And he does not miss. Saints back on song by their captain, George Furbank. And for the first time since October in Saints colours, Tommy Freeman, the three-test Lion, onto the field. And more threats for the Sale Sharks to deal with. Not back by Todoro. And is that the breathing room that Saints needed?
Yeah, they were always going to fire a shot at some point to get themselves back that energy level they had first half. It was just the interplay between the players. It was so good. Slight Holmes on as well, which is another danger for Sale because he scores so many tries. It's a hell of a set of two players to bring off the bench, isn't it? That's the back three riches that the Northampton Saints have. Not straight. Far too many of them today for Sale. Just giving up easy ball. In Northampton, you're licking your lips at these kind of opportunities. 40 points to 21. You can see them all talking together. You want to have a go, you want to fire a shot here.
Sam Vesti this week talking about Saints and the performances they put together in Europe and sort of where they're tracking at the moment. He said, we've done well without shooting the lights out. We're running at about 6.5 out of 10 at the moment. How many levels do you think this team has to go through?
Well, I understand where he's coming from because they've had so much good over the past few years. Some of their attack has been sensational. So they set the standard high pretty early on when Vesti came in. You go through periods of not being able to make it stick, but this season, so far, scrum's not been ideal today. I don't think we've seen one full scrum from start to finish.
Well, this time, Cleopas Kundiona, the culprit, on his fourth Premiership appearance since joining from Neves in France. Going flat on the ground there and providing the platform now for Saints to go after this bonus point.
Yeah, it's got to be the target here for the Sharks. Get 4 tries and a point out of it.
The captain brings it to earth. And Sale just can't get the go forward they want from them all, so they go to the centres. That's a hand in that tackle somewhere that knocked it down. And Sharks continue to build. Van Rijn just keeps on going, never stops. Dupree spots a bit of undefended green grass, and it's expertly handled under a fair bit of pressure from George Furbank.
It's really well sorted out by the Northampton Saints backline, really. They were under pressure out there. Didn't have enough numbers because they got a man down too, but they sorted it out between them. Furbank's on, he's done 2 jobs though. He's sat on the wing and he's sat half at fullback, knowing that Rob could either throw the pass or put the kick through, and he's got to be able to adapt to both.
Well, he spoke about writing a new chapter this season, having been blighted by injury. Well, See people wondering whether that chapter might be in quarters come next season. Sale questing for this bonus point still. Van Rijn leading the charge. In the late arrival, Tristan Woodman onto the ball. Purple jerseys just pouring round that left corner. Gus Wall wants to go, but Sale have gone off their feet at the breakdown, and it's a much-needed penalty for the Saints.
Again, Saints defence stands strong in the 22, nowhere to go. Threats at the breakdown, just discipline for Sale Sharks. It's not been up to standard. Let the pressure off again for the Saints.
So Toby Thames' sentence has been served, and Chunyamunga is going to come on to the field in place of JJ van der Mescht, who I think is going to get a pretty warm reception. He's really embedded himself in the community around here. He's coaching Tosestrians, who got big game against Hinkley Twos today, by the way. And yeah, he's really sort of embedded himself in the rugby scene here in Northampton, and I think they're grateful to have a human that large in their colours. Toby Tame upended on reintroduction to the fray. Will's huge leap. Wasn't able to take it cleanly. Coles marched back across his 10. And Finn Smith says, let's put a bit of air on this. Clumsy challenge on Ollie Davies, who took it safely in the face of confrontation and wins a penalty on the floor.
Some great chases there from Northampton Saints. Putting every catch under pressure. I think it was just a big collision, really. This one comes down. He might caught him with the wrist, but the initial shoulder collision is still higher than I'd like it to be. But yeah, it's the wrap, it's a late arm. It's the penalty for sure, yeah. Well, that's where they are anyway, Sale.
Sharks still on the hunt for a fourth. And they're getting a bit of purchase out of this maul at long last. That hasn't been infiltrated now by Saints' arms. Coles is levered around it, but he's done so illegally. There he is, Chunyamunga, who's had a disjointed start to the season by his own admission. First Premiership appearance for the former London Irishman. Great talent. And very much emblematic of this young cohort of players here at Saints, who the running theme with them is just they enjoy each other's company. It's a strong group of friends and teammates. And the Sale Sharks line out is disconnected again, but Dupree has swept up the crumbs. Nice feet from Tristan Woodman. They build to the right, spinning through. 10 from the Saints line. War He's added a bit of tempo since coming on. Van Rijn, beautifully delayed ball, and then a swivel of the hips from Davies almost sees him slink free. Woodman, nowhere to go but into green jerseys. Dan Dupree.
It's really hard to break down the Saints. Every tackle is a two-man hit. Every breakdown is difficult for Sale. See that 2-3 numbers straight in to slow the ball down.
And eventually, the pressure forces the knock on. Mitchell caught in his dead ball, but we'll come back for the scrum.
It's really good from the Northampton Saints. They're just aware when the carrier's going into contact and know they can add to the tackle. Here's a couple of them. There's the knock on, which ultimately comes from Sale thinking they've got to force a pass to find a gap somewhere, because you go through phase after phase and eventually you get annoyed. Got to try something. Solid defence from Northampton, which he'll be very happy about.
He's achieved quite a lot, hasn't he, Phil Dowson, since coming in? Premiership title, Champions Cup final last year. It's coming up to 4 years in the role come January. I think he's sort of, I guess, understated. You know, people don't talk as much about the work that Phil Dowson has achieved compared to some of the other coaches at times.
No, I wouldn't agree with that. You know, I think he's done really, really well. I think he likes it that way, to be honest. Coaching's can be a funny job, can't it? And you've got this long game, and being at such a good club like Northampton, he's not in any rush to go anywhere else. He looks very happy. Team's in a good place, club's in a good place. He's happy to go about his business. He's got some really good coaches under him. He's happy to offload work and some of the limelight onto Sam Vesti and Lee Radford. Actually played with Lee at Rugby League. Me and Lee played for England together once. I hope we did, yeah. He was a hard man then.
Back in the league days.
Yeah. So he's got some good coaches under him. They just all seem comfortable in doing their own job. And you know sign of a good coach when he's relaxed and confident in the coaches that he's got to allow them to do their job to their full potential. And along with that, they've got such a good academy.
Now that is a pair of boots right there.
Does that mean they're not for sale? You know, like they bring the cars out when it's a new car, they're not sure they want you to see it. That's what they are. They're hurting my eyes, they are.
Well, you could have won. You could have got 15 grand off the car in the halftime dropkick competition. Do you want a set like that in your pomp?
Oh, without doubt. They're a bit understated for me. They're a bit difficult to look at, I think. Not my style. I was more of a pink or yellow man.
Just as a marginal runner-up to the Christmas tree hat that gentleman was wearing that we saw at half-time in terms of the style stakes here today.
We had the Grinch last night at Welford Road as well. Here he is, stretching, look.
He's coming on.
He is real, isn't he?
Sale really turned the screw at the scrum, and Chick knows that they're in retreat, so picks and swiftly moves. Coles. Fischetti. Over 50 caps in Italian international colours now, and a penalty warned after his contact.
He's on the wrong side. 2 issues, no release and wrong side.
7 minutes remaining. You'd have to feel that, well, something's happening here. I'm not quite sure what. Can you explain that, Ashy?
I think the Christmas tree man was doing a dance.
Well, Alex Mitchell's going to feel hard done by because this is about 10% of the volume now as he comes from the field. But he's done a fine job, has the man who featured in 2 tests in the summer in the red of the Lions, and Tom James gets to come on for his 2nd Premiership appearance of the season. 100th Saints appearance early this year, and that famous win against Leinster in the semi-finals of Europe last year. Charge down, Dan de Pree sprints off in pursuit as well. Swings a big peg, and Toby Tame goes out on the full. It's not over yet for Sharks.
Not the first touch you want in the game there from James. Getting charged down midfield. If you're going to do that kick, it's got to be on. You can't just hope for it. It's very hard to get that up and over a player so big as de Pree. Yeah, they are still chasing this bonus point, Sale. 6 minutes, clock's running out for them. They've had enough chances at it.
5 minutes and a bit of change for Sharks to come away from the Midlands with a crumb of comfort in the form of a try bonus point. Low. du Preez. Davies just shifted out left. Van Rijn. And Pearson somehow clamps down and releases the pace out wide. Furbank, the captain, has all the Sharks' backs turned and scrambling back. O'Flaherty is unflappable. But just like that, the bonus point feels oh so distant now for the Sharks. They'll have to go from range. And the Saints won't mind this. Field position, a bit of time out of the clock, and a line out to launch.
Another turnover, Saints. We don't actually catch it there, but they all come alive. It's really unfortunate they didn't get the bounce. It's a little bit infield from Furbank, but bounce was kind to Sale. You're always desperate for those to bounce in your favour. Just make it more difficult to get a nudge on and try and keep the ball bouncing around. We saw one last night with Thomas Williams with Gloucester, couldn't manage it, missed the ball. Leicester get a try. That's what you're hoping for in that situation.
Well, this is not a pleasing sight for Saints or Italian fans, and Danilo Fischetti in some real discomfort, and Manny Yogan has to come back on for another 4-minute blast. Saints looking to close out this match on a high! Tom Pearson! Piercing the set, the Sharks defensive line one last time, and Northampton finishing with a festive flourish.
So good from Pearson. This was his trademark when he first came on the scene, London Irish. Nobody really knew what to do with him. He'd hit lines like that all the time. We haven't really seen enough of it yet at Northampton Saints. Well, we've just seen one there and what he's capable of. Once he hits it and makes a break, you can't stop him. He's so big, strong and fast. O'Flaherty had no chance to turn and get hold of him.
Another maximum to the hosts. And a trio of tries for the Saints back row.
It's a funny one when the stand starts emptying because you've won that well. There's a lot of people walking out here because they know the team have won so well. That's a strange one.
You'd think they'd stay to bask in the moment, wouldn't you, and show their appreciation for a Saints side that have well and truly bounced back after their mauling at the claws of the Bears at Ashton Gate a couple of weeks ago. It was a Calais Saints side that took to the field that day. They had to contend with the 20-minute red card. But they are back, and they are back with a try-scoring bang here on the eve of Christmas. There is still something here, 4 shots to get after, but only if they can keep the ball in their hands. They might, though, be staring down the barrel of a half-century. As Callum Chick puts the laces through it, sits up awkwardly, doesn't sit up at all for Wills. Saints are hanging around. Burbank wants to go quickly.
Callum Chick put in the 50 attempt in. That's what I said a minute ago when they kick through. You're desperate for a bounce to go anywhere in your favour, and that one did. Just drop short. That's what you want, a bounce like that when you're attacking team, just to allow everyone to get over the ball. Saints did so well, and look at the bodies they've got in the picture there. The energy's just lifted for the past 10 minutes. Dying for 50 points here now, the Saints. It's a good statement as well, 50 points against Sale at home.
Saints looking to inflict maximum pain on the Sharks, but some bruising tackles arrive to repel them for the time being. Furbank drags his knees to the deck and loses it forward, so the Gardens will be denied a half-century, but the Northampton Saints will not be denied 5 maximum match points in a crushing performance against the Sale Sharks. Multiple try scorers getting in on the act, including the captain.